been main picks for this bot lane. The Varus Ashe, whichever one G2 likes to play on the day, has been superior or has been great. And the Tahm Kench pick from Wadid has been insane. Interestingly enough, they ban away the Akali as well. Looks like that's not going to be the early priority for them. Things like the Trundle is kind of what you'd expect from the side of Vitality, given that Kikis so far is undefeated on the champion. And we've seen Jankos over the last 2 weeks play a lot of tanks like the Sejuani and the Gragas. Some of the standard first picks are being banned on blue side. Both of them in Akali and Aatrox. Vitality making very clear they do not want to be forced into having to pick one of these, maybe even traded with G2. Gragas is a huge pick for them because they flex it around. Kikis can play it, Cabochard loves to play it. Now, interestingly enough, the Trundle comes out very early from G2, and no surprise, the Braum is going to be an answer as well. You already talked about the flexibility. This could mean that Kikis could still go for something like the Graves, could also go for a Kidnred, who are both considered pretty strong matchups into the Trundle, and would give him that counter jungle presence that he loves to play towards. Yeah, the Trundle pick is so important. Take away from Kikis. Also makes it really difficult to play Kikis invade style, because Trundle is one of the strongest early dueling picks. This is specifically locked in early for G2 to say, we know how Vitality likes to play the game, and this one champion can be part of actually countering their entire play style.
Well, let's see whether or not they can execute that off in-game as well. No real surprises yet as far as the draft is concerned. And with both assumed junglers and supports being locked in, let's see where Jiizuke locks in for Vitality. That'll give us an indication. Cabo, Gragas, and of course Kikis taking that Kidnred. So this is what we were talking about. Kikis still loves to play that counter jungle style. The fact that G2 went for such an early Trundle means that Kikis now feels like he's got a pretty positive matchup. And even after the nerfs, we saw a lot of Kidnred over in North America. She's kind of been coming back here in Europe, been played a couple of times. And G2 going to round things out with what looks like a bit of a defensive bot lane. Versus Attila and Jactroll. Yeah, they don't want to play Ashe because they don't have Tahm Kench. And they don't have Tahm Kench because they want Braum against Gragas. So it's a little bit of a play right there with the Gragas early pick into what they consider the best answer in Braum, but it does mean Hjärnan does not get to play his favorite AD carry that he actually has been showing some really good games on lately. It is Ezreal instead, which is a lot harder to play around for G2. And considering the strength of Attila and Jactroll in recent weeks, and even just yesterday, maybe a smart call, maybe being a little safer in that bottom lane. Remember Attila playing that Draven game yesterday and really popping off. I definitely agree in this pick and ban phase. It is better. If I just had to blind draft for G2, I would take Ashe Tahm Kench for them almost any day in terms of how well they play that combo. Now, I love the respect being shown from G2 towards Jiizuke. What we've seen is a return of Ryze into the meta. Mid lane roaming champions that play well on the side lane. And this is what Jiizuke found a lot of success on last split, where we found a lot of those highlight reels and great outplays. That's now been banned away. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like a LeBlanc also banned away to kind of limit his pool and force him into something where PerkZ can have a favorable matchup. I mean, does PerkZ consider going Zoe at any point? He had a great game on it recently. You always consider it. Yeah, gotta wonder. There's the LeBlanc banned away. So Vitality, one last ban before G2 have to reveal their top or mid lane. That's going to be something blind pickable. And Cabochard and Jiizuke will have, Jiizuke and Attila will have some options to lock in their last picks. Yeah, and again, ideally, you save that for Wunder, because you always have the option of 10 million insane counter picks that could be used and can be huge to win the draft. Vitality specifically want to win the early game as a team. Yep. If you suddenly get counterpicked in multiple lanes around top side as one of them, and you start losing that lane really hard, it becomes difficult to play the game. Ooh, interesting. And they've drafted themselves the Jarvan. Now, something wanted to bring up was their lack of engage right now. Braum not considered the best way to start fights, but Jarvan is very good at that. What G2 really need is now some great follow-up from that. We have seen PerkZ play things like the Orianna, not to great success, but other things like the Zoe are still available. With that being the potential lock-in here for Vitality, another comfort pick for Jiizuke. I'm looking at things like the Irelia as a possible answer for the side of PerkZ. And obviously because Vitality couldn't flex the Gragas with the Kidnred already, the Jarvan came in as that counter pick for Wunder. He's actually tried to play this matchup quite a few times. Also mixed success, but we had that beautiful game where him and Jankos together just hard-camped Odoamne. That was a Jarvan top lane, and it worked really well for them. Kaisa coming in from Attila. This man plays like every AD carry. Yep, every AD carry, every mage, several bruises as well. This is his first time Kaisa. Second time we've seen that Jarvan, and PerkZ is going to lock in the safe Orianna. So pretty well-rounded comp on the side of G2. And a couple more forward-facing tools to Vitality. Interestingly enough, after the third
place match in Copenhagen. On the flight back, I had an opportunity to talk to Attila, who said he was hard spamming this champion. He loved her to bits. He found so many different builds, and this is his first time that he's actually bringing out onto a pro stage. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to play, or how he's going to play the champion, because he's apparently been a big favorite for a long time.
And there's a high chance he will have more impact than the Ezreal in this game from Hjärnan. But that's where G2 are looking towards, especially top lane with Wunder on Jarvan here. You make the trade. Attila, can you carry harder than Wunder on top side? He gets a counter pick. He has a Trundle jungle next to him. I think we're gonna get a split map. Who does it favor? I don't know. G2 has actually succeeded with top lane before.
Well, Deficio, didn't you think Vitality were going to win this game? Now you've seen the draft. Do you have the same level of confidence you did a few hours ago?
I think Vitality have a lot of ways with actually 2 huge carries in the Kaisa and Zoe. But I think G2's comp is a lot easier to execute.
But my big concern is PerkZ has not shown a comfort for these control mages. The last time he played Orianna, he went 0-4. He got shut down hard, and that was against Fnatic, where we did get to see that awesome wind wall play where he ended up sombreroing that ulti, and he just didn't have the same performance that you would expect from PerkZ. So my eyes will be on this mid laner. Can he have more of an impact on the Orianna and take his team to a potential tiebreaker for that first place?
And of course, while you're watching PerkZ, I'll keep my eyes on this Jankos versus Kikis matchup and what sort of level of impact that is going to have. And it's going to be an exciting match, that is for sure.
There's a fight for best Polish jungler at the moment between the two guys. I think Kikis would definitely claim, knowing him and his confidence, that he's the one.
I can guarantee you that he has, because I have watched some interview footage with him backstage where he said unequivocally exactly that, Deficio. But this is where he needs to prove it. Kikis, of course, on the Kidnred, going to potentially be looking to fight Jankos on that Trundle. And we've touched a little bit on how this map is going to get split, so let's see who's going to pick up any sort of early advantages and who's going to be able to get a lead to push forward. G2, for the time being, they're grouped up in the top lane.
Well, if I was to see a early play or kind of early presence from the side of G2, it would definitely be towards the top side of the map. Funnily enough, Vitality kind of expecting a similar thing, looking toward already towards the top side, given that they do want to invade on bot, and they now have full information of what G2's early game is looking like.
Yeah, it's a very standard, you know, just break open the map level 1 by saying we now have information of your blue buff on both sides, and we could maybe invade it, and then suddenly you have nothing on bot side. And the same obviously where G2 will then control the top side on their side. For now, both junglers are starting in their own camps.
Yeah. We need to see how it plays out. Just quick reminder to everybody at home, we've been playing this prediction game all split long. We actually want you guys to get involved. If you go follow at LOL eSports and you actually jump in and vote on who you think will win games before 12 o'clock each day, you can actually help Twitter win. Now, I think you guys are sitting 4th. You're just ahead of Shocks and just behind me. But when it comes to the superior analyst, Deficio and Vedius are tied at 66 points apiece. I tried to find the most flattering photos I could of my two co-casters.
So good.
And of course, this game will determine it. Whichever member is the superior analyst gets dibs on casting those tiebreaker games.
And let's highlight, now that we are talking about it, I picked Vitality,
yes,
and Vedius picked G2 eSports.
And last split, Deficio did win. He was the champion.
I'm glad you're highlighting that.
It's important to recognize that when a king is dethroned by the young upstart, and I'm looking forward to that
It's the beginning of a new legacy, and that's what Kikis is looking to do as well.
You're very biased today, Trevor. You also only fist-bumped him and not me.
Take a look at this. Kikis goes for the invade on red buff of G2's side.
Oh, Wonder's on his way.
It's not going to be their time. Kikis can just dance of arrows over the wall if he needs to. And I was wondering if Jankos was going to go mid. It seems to be the case.
But I mean, if you see Jiizuke there in the minimap, he knows. He's like, okay, I'm going to stand towards the top side where my jungler is at, because I know the enemy jungler will come from the bottom side. A little bit of free poke. Kikis will find him as well.
Gonna be a fight. Kikis finds Jankos. Dancing
oh, baby!
First blood goes to Jiizuke. Vitality aren't done yet. PerkZ is getting dropped down like 200 hit points. Wolf's Frenzy and the Mounting Dread combine to take down PerkZ.
What was the decision-making there from Jankos? He just walked into the face of Kikis, who in the early levels has the additional damage. The Ignite immediately went down from Jiizuke as well. G2 not respecting this early game damage from Kikis and Jiizuke, and Vitality find themselves 2 very quick kills.
Here's what I think happened with Jankos once we get the replay. For some reason, he feels like Kikis is not going to go towards him after having pulled the Raptor Cam, because they had vision of the Raptor Cam with the ward next to PerkZ. But the moment he walks into him, there's no way out, because they're never winning the trade.
Yeah.
So this was one jungler disrespecting, and the other jungler saying, well, thank you. Come to me, I will then kill you.
Kikis was also level 2, so I'm sitting there thinking maybe he thought that because of the level advantage he could do it, but I don't know, ends up backfiring for the side of G2. They've now fallen behind in this early game.
And we have to highlight, Jankos has very much been a coin flip player this split. We have had the great early games where he took over and he looked fantastic, and we've had the very bad early games where he gave away early kills and had no impact. Not a great start from him in this one. Definitely not out of the game yet, but Kikis, he's a happy man.
Now, Kikis and Jiizuke have both used Flash. This means that there is a potential return gank in the middle lane, but the same can be said for PerkZ. No summoner spells available, the cleanse was also used, and we already talked about his impact on these control mages. If you set PerkZ behind, can he have the same carry performance that he's had so many times in the past?
Just about to mention Jankos going top lane. It was delayed because he died in the mid lane, but he's up here now, and Kikis he's no flash.
Kikis and Cabo are just gonna hunt him down. That's a flash over the wall from Cabo. Cabo takes down Jankos. The coin is flipped. And Jankos is dead. 0-2 already at 5 minutes.
And it feels like Jankos is all over the place right now. After a mistake in mid, without flash, he rushes straight into a gank, having no information of Kikis.
The crowd is getting animated right now as G2 are suffering under the early game. 5 minutes in, Kikis 1-0-2 and looking for a play up topside.
I sincerely hope I'm understanding correctly, but it sounded like they're saying Italia. If that's the case, getting behind Jiizuke, the Italian stallion. 3-0 for Vitality. Kikis and Cabo looking to double team Wunder. Wunder's got flash available. There's the flag, the drag. Holding on to the flash. Sleepy Trouble Bubble needs to tag. There's the flash, and Jiizuke is going to be very happy with that one.
This does give a lot of farm over to PerkZ. Well, Jiizuke will have to run all the way back. Obviously, right now, Jactroll is going to try and soak up some of the experience. PerkZ,
Dum. Hunting PerkZ in his lane kingdom. Already got the headbutt pulverized, but here comes Jankos. Pillar of Ice will buy some time. Maybe enough.
That bubble missing from Jiizuke just saved PerkZ's life. Ended up getting the flash from Jactroll, but he should have died right there.
But let's just look at how the whole map is playing out right now, because you talked in the draft official about how we expect these teams to split the map. G2 playing towards top side, Vitality playing towards mid and bot side, and right now, Cabo is level 6 to the level 4 of Wunder. He has a huge CS advantage over towards the top side, and it's all because of Jankos falling behind in these early levels.
This is the early one here, Vedius, where he really just walks in without flash for a potential gank.
I think he's waiting for Wunder to TP back in, but he just doesn't respect that. There could be a ward in that tri-brush, and he ends up getting immediately punished. The TP ends up dropping as well, which means the Wunder gets back even later to lane. Everything is falling apart for G2 in this early game.
Now, Hjärnan is winning the bottom side in terms of farm right now. Obviously, Attila wants to scale on the Kaisa. You're not really looking for these early kills here. Jactroll on his side was spending time mid. And because that bubble missed onto PerkZ, it actually meant that G2 did not lose even more from that early one. So they're still trying to hang on, but they're falling pretty far behind, and especially the jungle matchup is a huge issue.
It's a 1,500 gold deficit right now, Deficio, and Jankos, he is currently 2 levels behind Kikis. Kikis already has his ultimate and Lamb's Respite. It's nearly 1,000 gold. So that gold lead that Vitality has accrued is in Kikis' back pocket. There's also a 2-level difference between Wunder and Cabo. Vedius, when you were in that replay talking about the gold and the CS experience that Wunder's missing, that's the roll. The barrel roll comes out.
No flash.
Cabochard's going to get knocked backwards by the Pillar of Ice. Kikis is making his way up from the river, but it's too low level, not enough items, and they simply cannot pick that fight on the G2 side.
Wunder has no teleport either. It looks like that he could go for an invade if he wanted to, but PerkZ setting up some vision to try and deny that invade from Kikis.
Yeah, Kikis so badly wanted to jump the wall there and start sitting at the red buff, but because PerkZ is leaving mid, he couldn't do it. They should know this, it should be communicated. But man, that could have been an opening for Kikis to get even further ahead in the enemy jungle.
Well, Kikis is doing a great job for now, clearing out the vision, continuing to push forward. I'm looking at the mini-map.
Actually leashing his red buff.
Unbelievable. Jankos is really struggling to find his footing. Kudos to Kikis being one of the instrumental members of Vitality to get the team ahead. Look, still pushing into the jungle. There's support now coming up from Jiizuke, but they can't threaten the Brambleback. It is secured by G2.
That was just good from PerkZ. The fact that he had the push in mid into go topside to cover so that Kikis could not invade into the jungle instantly. Because if Kikis had stepped into that jungle, Jankos wouldn't have gotten a single one of those camps. Might even have died again. So PerkZ right there, covering for Jankos.
Now he's going to be rewarded with a blue buff, which will certainly help with the farm in terms of the mid. But right now, Things looking heavily in favor of Vitality. A huge gold discrepancy separates the two junglers. A level discrepancy as well. 1,000 gold in the pockets of Kikis over his counter, or his opposite jungler rather. But now Jankos may be looking for an opportunity. This bot lane can be rather challenging to gank, especially seeing as Wadid isn't even level 6 yet.
We're trolled by observers toggling the vision. We didn't see whether or not Jankos came over the wall. And obviously he decides to back away. Take a quick glimpse there up in the top lane. Cabo and Wunder still trading, still a 2-level advantage to Cabochard, plus 14 CS. And I'm looking at Kikis, how many stacks? Sitting on 2 stacks already, pre-10 minutes. And I'm just waiting to see where he decides to go next. He's got that skirmishes saber upgraded. And it feels like he's sort of that point man that has unlocked Vitality's early game and playstyle in recent weeks.
The thing is, for G2 at this point in the game, they're just hoping to stall. That might be hard, as Wunder now getting caught out.
And a lot of damage from Kikis. That flag and drag gets him to safety.
But it's important that because nothing is happening bot lane, G2 are controlling that side at the moment. So it's opening up Infernal Drake. I feel like when you're down 2,000 gold, you should almost never be able to get an Infernal Drake uncontested. But because Vitality are focusing so much topside, playing around this Gragas that's now winning so hard, they're able to get it. Now let's see if Vitality can punish them for it.
Yeah, here comes Kikis again. All right, teleport's being channeled in the top tower. Wunder goes down to the Cataclysm. He's looking for Kikis. Lamb's Respite is available, and so far it's a 3 for 2. But it's only Wadid that shows up. There's not enough damage. There's not enough utility. And G2 eSports will concede 2 more kills to Vitality.
And that's now the answer from Vitality's side. Okay, sure, you get Infernal Drake. That means your jungler was stuck down there. He will not be topside for a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. And then we can go for the play.
And now Vitality likely going to get another kill off the back of this, as they have Jankos in their eyes. He does have the flash available, but instead just going to get zoned away. But so far, everything going in favor of Vitality. Kikis doing what he's done so well since he joined this team. Constant counter jungle pressure, constantly looking for opportunities. And look how Jactroll roams from the bot lane up towards the top side, and this ends up in a 3 versus 2.
Yeah, he reads, okay, enemy dual lane is recalled, they can go top. I need to be here already, ready to join a potential fight, and that is exactly what happened. Ended up probably surprising with Wadid initially when he TP'd in.
Yeah. And of course, it's just 5 kills, 100% kill participation for Kikis. Vitality are 4,000 gold up. But the thing is, Kikis has done this a lot. Kills plus assists at 15. He's currently averaging 4. Counter jungle percentage, the 3rd column there, is the highest out of all junglers here in EU LCS. He's got a significant CSD. And he's just taking over this game already against G2 eSports, the 2nd place team from Spring and the 4-time consecutive champions. It is a great, great time to peak for Vitality and for Vitality fans.
So now moving into the next phase of the game, like Vitality, after taking the top side of the map, like, they just need to keep pressure. With Kikis having such a big lead, you need to keep Jankos down in terms of denial, because remember, one of the big win conditions for G2 is that potential wombo combo of the Orianna Jarvan. Those late game team fights are their guarantee back into the game, but Vitality with this lead need to maintain pressure, and without securing Rift Herald yet, surprisingly, I thought they would have already secured it. They can, once they secure it, can look to play through middle bot.
Yeah, only 1 tower to Vitality, and we talked about how the map could be split with sort of G2 potentially winning top. That hasn't been the case. Really sort of struggling, and bottom lane has not really got too involved. So I want to talk about bottom lane in a moment. You guys at home, jump into chat and spam. Who will win this game? VIT or G2? PerkZ is going to be looking to make that G2 favored as he gets a shockwave dissonance combo, but there's not enough damage. And Deficio, these bot laners, Hjärnan and Attila, they're still farming out. They're still thrift store shopping for now. But they need to get items before they really get involved.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hjärnan is probably feeling the heat a lot more. I feel like if you're Attila and you click tab, you're like, great game, everyone. We're really doing this. I'm part of it too, because I'm farming bot lane where Hjärnan is going to be forced to carry. Like, Wunder is so far down in this game, you can only rely on him from an EQ combo into an ult, and he probably will just die right after. Hjärnan's been sitting down there free farming for so long, like, the Ezreal pick is going to be huge for them. And we're going to look towards him, which has actually been the case the last couple of weeks for G2. It was a big shift in terms of how the team managed to win games, because Hjärnan started to play really well on multiple different AD carries.
He did. And, you know, we thought that with the shift away from mages, he would start to struggle. What kind of champions would he shine on? But as you rightly said, Defishu, he's kind of come back into form. But the one person that's always been inconsistent is Jankos. And while he has had better performances over his last few games, the question was against some of the other top teams in Europe, would he be able to maintain that performance? And so far in this game, he is struggling. Kikis now level 9, taking full control of the topside jungle. 4 members around mid, they have their eyes set on their next objective.
Let's see whether or not Vitality can take this tower. Jactroll looked for that
I think he got him. Wadid ulted onto Kikis right there, managed to stop the Rift Herald. A little bit greedy doing it so close to the turret. That's a huge thing. Small loss if you think about Vitality and the current pressure, but a huge win for G2 because that was a lost mid lane turret. Especially when you talked about PerkZ and these control mages, and Orianna really wants to sit at the tower and farm and get to this mid to late game team fights, only sitting on that Lost Chapter and Merc trade, so it'll be a while before PerkZ is able to get those wombo combo shockwaves to really take down Vitality. And the reason I'm saying it's not the end of the world for Vitality is they will continue to have the pressure on their side. They will eventually get to this mid lane turret. It's just delaying it, which is so huge for G2 because they're the ones buying time. Last part just hits him. Maybe don't do it that close to the enemy team. Yeah, so nicely done. I had my eyes on Jactroll, waiting to see whether or not there was any follow-up after his initiation. Completely missed the fact that Kikis was channeling down bottom. So Vitality, they still maintain a very healthy gold lead. It's 15 minutes on the clock. They spent more time, it feels like, in G2's side of the jungle.
Yep.
And they've got themselves that tower in the top lane. Another dragon is spawning in 50 seconds, and there's a mid and bottom tower for Vitality to play around. So maybe they want to shift some of their attention if they want to compete for that Infernal.
I mean, I feel like G2 don't need to gamble fighting for an Infernal right now. The deficit that they're at, trying to force a fight, just gives more opportunities for Vitality to snowball. There are still 2 added towers that G2 are holding on to, and if you think about the fact that they're already in a 4,000 gold deficit when Vitality only have a 1 tower lead, trying right now to make anything happen is kind of the opposite of what you want to do. So just keep stalling out, wait for that 2-item spike, and then maybe you can look for an opportunity, or rely on the fact that Vitality do have a track record of making big mistakes come the mid-game.
Vitality and Barons are not great friends. Spring split, summer split has actually been kind of the same story. There's always the chance for G2 eSports. The problem is when you fall really far behind against Vitality, they never stop forcing fights on you.
It's true.
And they're just going to be stronger naturally by having more gold on their side. And that's when you get forced into that chaos, into these fast games, and you're just not winning the skirmishes. So G2 are doing the smart thing in trying their best to not overforce anything and just slow down. That's again why denying that Rift Herald kept that mid lane turret a while for at least a couple of minutes. That's big for PerkZ.
Yeah, really big. That 4,000 gold deficit becomes less impactful when you start looking at itemization. Now it's Luden's echoes for both PerkZ and Jiizuke currently at this very second, about even as far as that is concerned. I think Jiizuke is sitting on at least $1,000 though, so he'll be able to pick up his next item. And Vitality, they got that Infernal Drake, it was uncontested, and they're looking for an opportunity to lane to push in.
Now, the gold is obviously a clear indicator of a team being either ahead or behind, but another big indicator is the fact that Cabo has freely sat underneath Wunder's tier 2 turret, completely unafraid of being ganked. And this just kind of ties in of G2 just playing ultra defensively. They can't even move into the top side of the jungle because of Vitality constantly controlling it, and they're still able to take play on the other side of the map as well. And that just shows how much control Vitality have across the map right now. Full vision across the river, and only 1 added tower left to take.
And remember, if you've missed all the tiebreaker chats from earlier in the day, you're just tuning in now, maybe from North America, and you're waiting for some of the big games that's going to happen later in the LCS as well. Well, if Vitality win this one, we have 3-way tie tomorrow.
Yes.
Between Vitality, Schalke, G2 eSports, and the winner of that will get second place, go straight to the semifinal. If G2 wins, they will play against Fnatic later tonight for the first place.
And it's going to be so quick. It'll be Fnatic versus G2 as our first tiebreaker game if G2 bounce back, followed by Vitality versus Misfits. G2 are trying to set up that showdown with Fnatic, and they need to claw back this gold deficit. Jankos uses that subjugate, and he's starting to back away. Wunder goes with the Dragon Strike of the Demacian Standard to put some distance between him and Attila.
Jactroll.
Where is the support now from Jactroll? Can he find a headbutt pulverized combo? The answer right now is no. And of course, one thing just quickly to note about those tiebreakers is we will at some point move over to EU LCS 1. We will let you know as and when that is happening.
I feel like right there, Vitality did overchase a bit, hoping they could catch them, but G2 had already stepped away the moment they saw the TP come in from Attila. And while Cabochard tried to body slam forward and maybe force a flash, no one reacted. That's obviously, again, something that does buy a little bit of time for G2 Esports to continue trying to catch up.
Baron is spawning at about 1:20, and the one thing you can say about Vitality is they're not afraid to force that objective. You already talked about how they don't have the best relationship with it, Deficio. That's in part why, because of how much of a willingness they have to use it as a means to fight. And with G2, especially PerkZ, still farming up nicely. He's currently level 12, matching that of Jiizuke. He has completed his first major item in the Ludens. He can still be that big carry threat that G2 will turn to turn this game around. So, game, while still very much in control of Vitality, they're looking like the heavy favorites so far. I'm keeping my eyes on this mid laner to find some kind of comeback.
I'm also going to see the interaction between PerkZ getting his ult off and Kikis doing the same. There's actually no way for G2 to properly get people out of the Kidnred ult.
Yep.
And that's where, if Kikis is ready and not CC'd the moment PerkZ actually seems to pull the trigger, no one should die at first. Yep. But then obviously the follow-up can happen.
Well, Kikis is sitting on 5 stacks of his passive and rapid-fire cannon, has some tools to put some distance between him and PerkZ. And Deficio and Vedius, you guys were talking about the Baron and the relationship Vitality have with that objective. Well, in terms of the rest of the jungle objectives, Vitality have picked up 9 red and blue buffs combined this game to G2's 3. And that was another one that just went the way of Vitality. Kikis is counter-jungling, and the advantage and the lead that Vitality have accrued up till this 20-minute mark is allowing them near absolute control of G2's jungle.
Jankos is the same level as the 2 supports in this game, while Kikis is level 12. He has done a fantastic job of not only finding an early game lead, but maintaining it with 137 farm as well, 20 minutes into the game.
Starting the Baron right now. There's a ward right outside. It's a classic ward outside that G2 uses to spot them. So again, Vitality, a little bit early here. You can properly sweep this river because G2 are not allowed in it. Like, you have full control. You have so much time to actually make sure that everything is clear. One thing to highlight though, about Kikis specifically, and this draft in the game, remember Trundle was grabbed first rotation by G2. It was like, haha, this is your best pick, we take it. We use it to stop you from playing the Vitality and the Kikis playstyle of just, you know, bullying me in the early game and forcing these fights against me. And Kikis was like...
Yeah, how did that work out for them?
Exactly. He's like, great, I can play Kidnred now. Thank you, everyone. So their plan, while it looked smart at first, actually ended up backfiring due to what happened in the game.
Well, all credit to Vitality and Kikis for taking advantage of that and putting themselves in a position where they could punish Jankos. It was that invade earlier that set it up, then it was punishing Jankos on a sort of return gank. It's 21 minutes in the clock, 45 seconds to the next Infernal Drake. That's 3rd in a row. Sleepy Trouble Bubble will find Wadid and PerkZ. Oh, there we go. I thought he was going to body block it, decided against it. And Vitality, they're once again grouping up. They're trying to get this mid-outer turret down.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the side waves. Top is pushing in for Vitality. Cabochard had already pushed in bot. I thought he would group up with his team right now, create a numbers advantage in mid, and then look to force that tier 1 down. But he actually went back to base, and now he's going back bot. I feel like Vitality missed a bit of an opportunity there to siege onto that tier 1 in mid. Will allow G2 to get a bit of farm, but Vitality can at least set up vision around the next Drake spawning.
Still, the lack of vision being properly cleared, or the lack of pink wards to actually clear all the vision around the Baron, meant that G2 were not afraid of losing it. So they never had to leave the mid lane and actually give up a potential turret. Because Vitality would then always get the map control when G2 moves in towards the Baron to stop it. They have to then take a long route back and so on. Never happened, because that ward was sitting outside the Baron pit, and Vitality did not realize they actually put the control ward in the pit after they were spotted the first time. And then they didn't even find a ward in there. So like, what's happening? How did they know we did it?
And you look at the vision right now, G2 have set up a healthy set of wards around that Baron objective. We're 22 minutes into the game, and I believe we haven't seen a kill now in like roughly 10 to 12 minutes in either side. And this is the perfect kind of stall that G2 have been looking for.
And they missed the ward again here, because he was using the vision plant right there to go towards the right side. And obviously getting a bunch of wards for it, so there was not a bad use of the plant. It's just still not giving any information of it.
Oh, Shockwave did not do enough. Yes, it caught onto Jactroll, but didn't catch more champions, didn't catch more minions. And Vitality take the 3rd and final outer turret from G2 Esports. They extend the gold lead to just shy of 6,000 gold. They've got themselves that 2nd Infernal. There's Baron available to them, and it feels like Vitality are in absolute control of this game. And now we get to judge and evaluate. Have they learned from their Baron mistakes? Can they...
So far, no.
Can they play this comp in a different way, pushing onto inner turrets or catching G2 in the jungle? You know, how do they use this lead and advantage that they have?
So I think the important thing to remember about Zoe is she can be impactful in team fights, but her true strength comes from her ability to poke, and ooh, she could be in trouble right now.
Well, let's find out. Wadid gets head-butted away. 5 members of G2 are close by. Here comes Attila. His killer instinct is on a hunt. Void goes out, and here comes Cabo. Explosive mask available. Look at the damage onto G2. Wunder gets dunked by Kikis, who remains on 100% kill participation.
If you're trying to fight Vitality in the mid lane, you're gonna have a bad time because they will always fight back. They were ready right there. PerkZ didn't have his ulti when Wadid tried to force the engage.
And now G2, if they want to come back into this game, they need to steal this Baron. Jankos, this is your moment.
There's no flash, there's no blast cone, the shockwave doesn't do it. It's picked up by Attila. In the ensuing teamfight, Wadid and PerkZ are running for their lives. They stay alive as Hjärnan remains untouched. Somehow, Wadid gets dropped at the end of it, and Vitality get Baron and get out.
Oh, Vitality, that is so huge because they don't have to set up Baron slowly. They actually get a fight first, and then they can go for the objective. Look at this play here. No ult from PerkZ when the engage happens.
And look at the positioning of Wunder as well. He's not in a position to follow up. There's a perfect flank opportunity from Cabochard behind, and then here's the Zoe damage. Hits onto 2 members. Wunder tries to get out, but gets interrupted by a fantastic ulti from Cabochard, and with 1 quick kill and Jankos only being level 10, Vitality can feel super confident that that Baron's going to go in their favor.
I mean, the way this team succeeded with Barons in Spring Split was to get the fight first.
Yes.
Pick up a bunch of kills and then go for the really safe, easy one. They always failed when it was slow setups. Not this time around, because G2 opted into the fight.
There's
and they got
nothing
punished.
slow about this, Deficio. Vitality are barreling down mid lane. They've taken an inhibitor. They've got a 10,000 gold lead. And if Vitality close this game out, we have an EU LCS Super Sunday on the cards, as the battle for the bye will start tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Schalke, Nulfear, Vitality, and G2 eSports will all be competing for seeds 2, 3, and 4. And that will start at 2:30 tomorrow. That is all assuming Vitality close this game out. But you have to think they have all of the tools. They have the lead. They have map control. It is up to Vitality to take that final hurdle.
Vitality still have 1 minute and 45 seconds left on the Baron. They have such a huge level advantage over so many crucial members of G2. Ezreal is currently sitting on the top lane, and with this numbers advantage, Vitality can just force another tower.
Only thing they're looking at is the ball from PerkZ that was used to kill minions. And that now means this turret is going to take a lot of damage.
Vedius, you said it in Picks and Bans. Control mages and PerkZ are not having a great time. This Orianna has not had the impact it needed to. Now, to be fair, the game has somewhat fallen apart around him. Wunder and Jankos just got picked apart in the early game by Kikis, who is still 205, 100% cult participation. He's got an Infinity Edge now as a 3rd item, and super minions in 2 lanes.
Yeah, no matter what you say about individual performances here, we have to look towards the jungle matchup as the key one that changed everything in this game. Jankos walked in, died around that mid lane, then walked top, died again to Kikis. So Wunder was left on his own. PerkZ in the mid lane could just farm. Nothing else. Like, the whole thing fell apart early based on the 2 junglers.
And a lot of this comp revolves around Wunder. Not only did he get that kind of matchup in the top side of the map, but he is the primary engage for G2. He needs to be your front line. He needs to be the one setting up these plays, and he is 2 levels behind Cabochard. He's been put at a constant deficit throughout this game, and it is off the back of Kikis and the squad pressuring him. And now with the Baron, 20 seconds still left, 2 inhibitors down, Vitality are looking to force that 3-way tiebreaker.
Man, G2 are just running out of options. They're running out of time. And Vitality, it has been a showing. We saw some tweets earlier on stream where Yamato said, "Thank you very much, H2K. 2nd seed is now available to us." Speaking on behalf of Vitality. Wunder replied and said, "Yeah, we'll prevent that happening." His 0-2 Jarvan unfortunately has not been able to make that a reality. And there's a killer instinct from Attila. He chases Hjärnan as well as Wunder and Wadid away from the tower. That's going to drop as Jiizuke takes it down. That's a kill onto Wunder. Third of the game. The first time the Kikis isn't involved in the super minions onto the Nexus turrets. Vitality are about to force the tiebreakers.
They're going for some more here, more kills.
Oh, it's simply not going to be enough. Jiizuke's on a killing spree. He kills Wadid. The Nexus turrets are falling. So is Jankos. The third time for the game. Vitality have taken down G2 eSports. And the battle for the bye starts on Sunday.
The elation on Vitality's faces. H2K gave Vitality this opportunity, and they took it without a moment's hesitation.
They could not have stomped G2 any harder. They looked so clean in this game, and it all starts around the early game with Kikis once again. What a change since he joined this team.
Vitality have a chance tomorrow to get a bye, to skip quarterfinals, to guarantee themselves an appearance in Madrid. And the people standing in their way are G2 eSports, who they have just obliterated. And of course, Schalke 04, who will need to come back tomorrow.
And it's important to highlight, a couple of weeks ago, before Kikis played, we were talking about a Vitality not even making playoffs.
True.
Because they were losing so many games. That's what I call a great run.
And this weekend, we have to vote for MVP. At what point do we start considering Kikis in that conversation? This man has changed this team, and if he takes them to a second place, is he one of the most valuable players in our league?
Well, let's step back. We talked about Vitality. They had lower expectations several weeks ago. But one of the things we haven't necessarily covered, gentlemen, is that whoever wins tomorrow gets the bye. But whoever loses takes third and fourth seed. They drop down. For G2 eSports, who've been in the top 2, top 3 all split long, for Schalke, who were moments away from that second seed, it is a terrifying prospect to think you're going to be in that 4th, 5th battle. Or 3rd, 6th, for example, as well.
Oh, man. And it just leads us to some very exciting games tomorrow. As a reminder, the games start at 2:30 p.m.
Ready check at 2:30. Game start at 3.
Game start at 3, my apologies. And it is a 3-way tiebreaker. So I'm not entirely confident on the format, so I'm going to rely on
I will tell you.
I will tell you.
So the 3 teams will play against one another in a round robin. If there is a clear 2-0, 1-1, 0-2, we have our standings.
Easy.
In the event that there is not, we will draw them into a bracket and play 2 additional games, where one of the teams will get a bye. We'll confirm some of those details with you a little bit later, and this is just this final team fight. I love Attila using that killer instinct just to pull G2 away from the tower and then open up for Jiizuke to take it down.
And it was just such a clean game overall. Attila, he didn't really have much of an impact on this fight, but he's going to be more than happy at the end of the day because the rest of his team had such a fantastic performance. Kikis was really the star of the show, working well with Jiizuke, shutting down Jankos, who was constantly at a deficit. Vitality looked clean, calm, confident, and they look like such a strong team coming into the tiebreaker scenario tomorrow.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. When you think that Vitality, of the 3 teams that participate in tomorrow's matchup, are the only ones that picked up the win. Schalke losing to H2K and now G2 being crushed by Vitality. How does that color your opinion? How does that set up expectations and predictions? Now, I would ask you, Vedius, but I'm not going to. No, no, no. You have not earned the right to speak. You have not earned the right to predict because the regular season prediction champion is Deficio. He is getting set up for PGL. I will award him his donut later.
I will deliver it to him.
You should. PGL. You actually should. I think that is the ultimate shame that you can deliver him his donut.
We still have the playoffs. I can still come back, but the regular season champion. The regular season champion is Deficio. Well done, Martin Lange.
Exactly. And you guys need to tell us who is the player of the game for this particular matchup. Jump onto Twitter at LOL Esports. We've got it down to Cabochard, Jiizuke, or Kikis. Yeah, good luck. The tiebreaker games are coming up tomorrow, and it is going to be the battle for the bye. It will be in full effect. You can see the teams battle out in our road to Madrid and the 2018 EU LCS Summer Finals. Tickets are available online now at eu.lolesports.com/Madrid, or you can find yourselves a viewing party near you at www.leagueoflegendsincinemas.com.
And if you're a Fnatic fan, you're going to want to get one of those, because we didn't mention it, but they've just locked in first place. That's why we have a battle for the VIT tomorrow.
Yep.
They're all fighting for that second. Congratulations to Fnatic, our regular season first place.
It wasn't the way they thought it was going to happen.
Nope.
They lost to you well, but G2 lost to Vitality. That means Fnatic won the fight for first. We've got Law sitting down with Jiizuke. Let's see what he has to say. The Italian stallion.
Thank you very much, Trevor, and congratulations, Jiizuke, on this one. You made it look really, really easy. Smashing G2 in your last game of the split, how did you make it happen?
I think we had a lead from the start. We saw 2-2 mid and win. And I think the next 5 minutes after that, we played good, but then we slowed down a bit. I think we could have ended the game even more fast.
Did you prepare something special coming into the game today? How was your mindset going against G2?
Not really nothing special, nothing special, just the same picks as always. There were many mini bans by both sides, so I had to focus a bit, but they left me Zoe, so I didn't mind.
At some point, you looked worried and even relieved after one play. What happened here? Because the game was really controlled for you guys, and even then you felt like you missed something.
I think you are talking about the Nashor, because Kaisa got the Nashor, not Kikis. And my heart was just moving, it was, I was saying at 4k HP, don't burst, just let Kikis do his job. And we bursted at 4k to 0, and it was such a 50-50 that I don't know. They had no jungler, but still with Hjärnan you can steal it. So I was saying don't burst it, but I did, and then my heart was exploding. Yeah.
And relieved in the end. Now, I talked to Attila about it yesterday. You were really better than last week, especially after the Schalke loss. So what did you change in your training to score a 2-0 today?
I think just it's about putting the scrims result on stage. I think every week that we are playing, we are doing this better. Last split, we were we were playing really bad on scrims, then we played good on stage, then it was reversed, and now we are in the middle, and just we have to aim to go this high to just play the same, and that's what we are striving for right now.
Yeah, and the middle is really good, and with this win, you implied a 3-way tie between you, Schalke 04, and G2. You will have to play those games tomorrow, so what is your mindset going into this last games, this tiebreaker?
I guess 2 more games to play. I like playing LCS, so yeah, I guess we play 2 more games. It's a G2 and Schalke?
Yeah, G2 and Schalke.
Okay. I didn't even think about it, to be fair, by winning this game.
Who do you think is the toughest opponent between the two?
I don't know. Myself, I will see G2.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but Schalke for other reasons, I guess. Just the bottling rivalry and stuff like this.
Well, you'll have to play them both anyway, and you can still make second at the end of this tiebreak. So you'll see about that. I wish you good luck on the games tomorrow, and thank you for joining me today. And to wrap up the day, and not the week, because we're going to have some games tomorrow, let's send it over to Shox for the EU LCS post-game lobby. Take it away.